Everybody hear me okay? Well, we're excited to be here. This is the first, and maybe the only live event I'll ever do like this. But after a lot of persuasion, a lot of asking, I thought it would be a good time to do it. And I was really excited to have my wife Kimberly join me. So, without further ado, I think we'll get into the questions. So, from what I understand, we had a lot of questions submitted to Mike and Christy. They sent those over to us. We're going to answer or ask and try to answer most of them. But if you submitted a question and you didn't hear it, it's nothing personal. There were just some questions that I looked at and was like, I don't think I could answer that in a way that was either accurate or would actually, I don't know, would be something I wouldn't necessarily give away. So we'll do that, and then if we have more time at the end, we're happy to take live questions. So if you didn't hear your question, you want to ask it again. You grab the mic and ask it again. Get started? I don't know what that means. I think like if that means that everyone's going to be happy when the treasures are found, and they're going to sit down and judge how I did. I think no matter what you do, is you design a treasure hunt, it's impossible to please everyone, and we have our expectations. I certainly have my expectations when I was searching for Forest Man's treasure. But so I don't know if I'll meet everyone's expectations. But is that what you think the question is? Probably not.
Louder.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready for the next question?
I am ready.
Are there any clues in your other social media platforms, such as YouTube videos, etc.?
No. No, nothing personal. I mean, obviously, like I'm sure people watch other videos I've done, and you get to know how I think, and you can probably like extrapolate from there. But there's no purposeful clues or including by me.
How do you know if someone was 100 or 200 feet away from your treasure? Is that through your direct emails or social media sharing?
Well, certain solves and certain areas have filtered their way down to me, and I know where I hid the treasures. So it's not very difficult to extrapolate, how close someone might have been. So I can just, Google Maps is all I need. So that's easy.
Okay. The next question is, why did you change your name from Collins to Collins-Black? I have a problem with this because your name was never Collins.
Do you want to answer that question? Or are you okay?
Yeah, you changed it from Comer
That's
to
right.
Collins-Black, and I changed mine also.
All right. So we're going to get into this, okay? So there's a couple things. If in a life before this, I was a musician, and I had a stage name, and my stage name was Jon Collins. And the reason I picked Collins was it was a lot easier to pronounce than Comer, which I could never pronounce. So I always pronounced it Comer. People would be like C-O-L-M-E-R. I'm like, no, Comer. C-O-L-M-E-R. No. And so this would go on, and I just wasn't fond of it. And then you were fond of your last name,
I wasn't fond of my maiden name, and so we decided we should just create a new.
It was an artistic choice. Because we said we're going to start a family, we're going to have kids, hopefully, which we did.
Yeah.
And this would be a chance when we get married and have kids to have whatever name we want, right?
Exactly.
So we kind of played around with the idea for like 6 months or so.
Yeah, I think we were coming out of a movie there, and I don't remember which one, and there's a character, her name was like Victoria Black, or Veronica Black, or something Black. And I was like, that's such a cool name, you know.
And then I was like, 2 white people can't have a last name Black. So then we said, how about Collins?
Yeah. We just
Yeah.
started toying around with it. And then we just kind of like joked, like that was going to be our name, Collins-Black. And then eventually it was like, oh yeah, we should just do that.
Yeah, it kind of grew on us. So that was the reason. It was a completely artistic choice.
Alright, let's see. Next question is, other than your book and the one clue in Unbreakable Thread, which is also your book, is there any other place we should be looking for clues?
Is that what it says? Any other place?
Yeah.
Okay. No, not really. I think that's all you need. I know that disappoints people. You want there to be more.
That narrows it down.
That narrows it down.
Did you consider geocache locations in the areas that you put your treasures?
No. No, there are a lot of geocachers here. Yeah, that was something I was peripherally familiar with before doing this, but I wasn't a geocacher myself, so I didn't know exactly how it worked. I didn't really include that in my mind when I was putting this together. There have been some geocaches now. My searchers looking for my treasure. Actually.
Is any trail or area closed since you hid the treasures?
Right now?
I told John that there was like a question in here, I read them before so I could put them out, and I was like, I feel like there's a question that you could, like it is so super general, so I'm gonna try to narrow it down, right? Like
Well, I mean, I think I did say that there was some like natural disasters that took place this year that affected one of the boxes. So it's probably safe to say that access was slowed down by Mother Nature for a little while. Not any longer. But if it's more like, is a trail or something that closed down by humans or authorities, then no.
Okay. Next question, when you gain distance in miles, is that how the crow flies or by foot?
Oh. You guys aren't gonna like my answer. I don't think you're like it. Both. There's times where it's times where it's the crow flies, and there's times where it's on foot. That's a sucky answer. Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah.
Are you gonna tell them which clue?
Nice try. She's advocating on your behalf.
You guys, more clues. How long after you know treasure has been found will you reveal the solve and announce to the public?
If I have the knowledge, I'll right away. I can't think of any reason why I would not do so. I set up a system whereby people can remain anonymous. So if you find one of the treasures, or more than one of the treasures, you don't have to tell me who you are. I don't need you to, and we don't have to allow the world to know. But I do want to let the world know, my intentions, even if you found it some other way by your own deduction. That wasn't intended. I want to let people know what I intended so that they have some sort of closure. And I don't see a reason I couldn't do that. Within a couple of days, I would probably want to gather my thoughts and write up a well thought out explanation. But as soon as I wrote that up, I would let everyone know.
Sounds good. Other creators of treasure hunts have very heavy interaction with the community, from social interactions to friendships, meetups, etc. And why have you decided not to do this?
I think that's a fair question. I think it's a good question. I know there's a think each of them has their own personality that's formulated by the person who created them. And I don't think there's any right way to do it or any wrong way to do it. But I think it's important maybe to understand that before I even started the process, I spent several months just kind of thinking about how I can make this my own. Like how I can make, what if I'm going to do this thing, how do I want to do this thing? What would be important to me? What if I was at the other end and someone else was doing something? What would I hope for them to do? And so what I wanted to do, and what I still hope that happens, is to create something that's really not about me. I mean, I really appreciate, and it's very flattering to have people show up and want to talk to me and act like I'm important or something like that. Of course, it makes me feel great, and I would love to interact with everyone all the time on some level, but that would really be about me and not about what I created. And so for me, this was in the spirit of, I don't know, the best analogy. There's not any perfect analogy, but whether it's a pirate's treasure, you wouldn't get to know the pirate because the pirate would probably be dead 200 years ago, right? Or the Goonies treasure, or something that Indiana Jones was looking for. I mean, these are the things that inspired me, and probably other treasure hunters, creators, and a lot of people in this room. But for me, a hunt or treasure is going to grow on its own and become its own thing. The reason I spent so much time and energy and money trying to get really cool items from treasures is I wanted those things to live on, in people's imagination. And I think that our imaginations are much more powerful than anything anyone can create. I don't know if anybody likes horror movies, but the best horror movies, in my opinion, are the ones that don't show you a whole lot. They just make you think about what might happen, and you drive yourself crazy, waiting for that thing to happen that might or may not happen. That's the same thing about what I want to create. It was something that it wasn't about me, it was about the treasure. And it's also I don't mind, if the treasures are found all this year, that's okay. But I also don't mind if this takes a while, because the longer it takes, the more it will grow people's imagination. And that will make it more exciting, and that will get more people interested, and that will be more invigorating. And that's really what it is. I don't want to be the center of this at all. I do, obviously, the reason I do interviews, the reason I'm here is that I want to have people know more about it, what I created, so people can have the opportunity to be a part of it. But beyond that, I really want it to be about the treasure hunt and the treasure itself, and the mystique and the excitement of that, and allow everyone here to write the story. I created the book, I created the treasure hunt, but now you're writing a story, and some of you may write the ending. And I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm going to go for the ride along with everyone else, but I don't want to be the person, driving the bus anymore, because I want everyone else to drive the bus together. And how do that?
Are you working on any other treasure hunts right now?
Like, am I making other treasure hunts right now?
I don't know, they didn't clarify.
Oh, am I searching? I'll say this. I know people who are searching for treasures that haven't been created by me. And if they ask my opinion, I might share my opinion and my 2 cents. But that's about the truth of it.
How close does one need to be to see the treasure box container when in the correct area?
There's 5. There's 5. There's always 5. Yeah, be pretty close. Pretty close. I mean, how good is your eyesight? Pretty close. I mean, one of the ways, yeah, pretty close. Close. You need to be close. Probably, close.
Okay, next question. How do you ensure that passersby don't find one of your boxes?
Well, I just put them in places I don't think passersby would go by. A lot of the reconnaissance I did was to ensure that people would not accidentally stumble across it. I mean, it's within the realm of possibility. There's never a 0% chance, but yeah, I just put them where people don't naturally go.
Okay. Is there a plan if something happens to you during your hunt, God forbid, on executing the ending of your hunt, like in The Secret? Does someone have information on who to contact and reveal the solution?
Not yet. But when we were talking about this, we were like, might be a good idea. I don't like to think about dying. But no, not yet, but we'll consider it.
Okay. On a lighter note, what is your favorite winter activity?
Skiing.
Mine.
Oh, something like that. There's one other person in the room who likes to ski too.
Okay, on a more serious note. A searcher has died looking for the treasure in the Forrest Fenn hunt and the Justin Posey hunt. Has this happened on your hunt? And if no, how would you manage this?
Yeah. Did someone die on Justin Posey hunt? Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, this is another question that people ask, and I understand why people ask it. What I can say is that, I kind of had the opportunity to go into this with my eyes wide open. I saw what happened with the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt. I saw the tragedy there. And so I knew that would potentially happen with this, because you cannot control other human beings' behavior. I have made it important. I made it a big deal to talk about safety in the book. I talk about it all the time in interviews. I always try to bring it up. I try to mention it over and over and over again, because that's about as much power as I have in the situation. It's just to keep mentioning that safety is important. But at the end of the day, people are responsible for themselves. People get exuberant about adventures and treasure hunts. I hope it doesn't happen. I put a lot of strong will and intention for people to be safe, but I don't. At the end of the day, I can only hope, and I can only talk about safety. But then, and also I understood that was a risk I was willing to embark on for myself and for everyone that gets involved. But I hope that you'll be safe out there. And if you see friends or family members who get a little too riled up, that you'll kind of try to rein them in, because it's probably not worth dying for.
Right.
That was kind of dark. Right after the skiing, that was kind of. We should organize.
This is more of a neutral. Okay. Is there any special meaning to the containers that the boxes are hidden in, or are they just for weather protection only?
Yeah, there's no special meaning for me. I put a lot of time and effort into trying to protect the boxes. So insofar as that question asked about that, it's really about protection.
Can you grid search any box reasonably in a day?
Well, how close are you when you start grid searching? You guys are gonna hate my answers. But I don't know. Sure, certainly, if you follow certain clues that get you within, a good area. Like if you were in an area the size of this conference room, you should be able to do that today, right? Yeah. So it just really depends on how close you get.
Do you have a way to prove that the box location has not changed? I'm not sure if they mean all of the boxes?
Yeah, so, there might be technology out there that I'm not aware of. I thought about putting a tracker on the boxes. The best trackers in the world that I could find lasted 2 years. So I was like, that doesn't really do a whole lot, because then after 2 years they don't work. There are military grade trackers that were as large or larger than the boxes I was hiding that last for 10 years, but I was like, I'm not going to tote that around and try to keep people from noticing that out of the wild. So at the end of the day, I was just stuck with trying to incentivize people to let me know. But no, I don't really have a way to know if anything's been.
If you were to guess, will the box be found this year in 2026?
What do you guys think? There was one lady over here who was like, no. I think there's a good chance. But I think it depends on how. Well, there's always a good chance. There's a lot of people searching, right? A lot of smart people searching, a lot of people with use a lot of collective brain power, which is really impressive. But if we just go on this last year and think about, okay, if only the people that searched last year searched again this year, I guess, yeah, I think there's a good chance something can be found. I think it has to do would have to do with how resilient the searchers are. Because there's definitely been searchers who have been with them a couple hundred feet. So if they go back and search all the areas within a couple hundred feet of every place they've been, there's a good chance. But people aren't always so resilient, are they? It's like that book, what is that children's book? Dan and Steve?
Stephen Dig a Hole.
Have you guys seen Stephen Dig a Hole? Yeah, it's a great story. Anyway, they dig a hole all the way in the ground, like an inch, where they could have found the treasure. And then they do that 12 more times in the book. Yeah, so it depends on how resilient people are.
Are any special permits needed to get access to the location of any of the boxes?
Well, I didn't need a permit to get anywhere that I went, and I don't think that's changed. So I don't think there's any permits needed.
Okay. Can the boxes be seen at night?
Do you have a flashlight? If you have a flashlight, yeah. Would I recommend you search at night? No. That sounds difficult. But if you want to, I know a guy, a friend who searches at night. But yeah, you could theoretically, if you had a flashlight or anything, you could see it at night.
But you're not condoning?
No, I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Is there a lead searcher for any of the boxes that you are aware
I don't know how to answer this question. I think that here's the thing. I maybe. But I haven't. I don't read the emails. There are things that get to me, but the vast majority of I don't know where people are specifically or who those people are. So when I say someone was within a couple hundred feet of a box or maybe 2 boxes, I am extrapolating based on a lot of information, but not necessarily one person's email. So I would say no. I don't think of things in terms of lead searchers. That's a slippery slope too. I think because for every person who tries to let me know or lets me know that they're searching, I think we have to realize there's maybe 100 people who don't. So to say someone, even if I knew someone was close, I don't know if it'll lead the closest person because there's 100 other people who didn't tell me what they were doing, and to assume that person is the one who's leading, I think would be presumptuous.
Good point.
Thank you.
I was going to ask you if there was a lead searcher, if they're here in the room.
I would be able to say it.
Are any websites in play for clues?
No.
A little bit similar.
No.
What has given you the most joy in this entire experience?
Yeah, I think most people people in this room probably heard me answer this question one way or the other, but it's just seeing the response, you know? Like, it's seeing people having a good time, you know, enjoying themselves. I really love when I get emails about people with their kids, or I get emails from kids, or emails about, you know, I've been spending more time with my spouse, I've been reconnecting with my best friends, you know, with my public relations people sometimes forward me, you know, really cool stories that people share. Not about where they were, it doesn't really matter. It's about the experiences you're having, you know. And I think there's people in this room that have made lots of friendships, work relationships, and that's what brings me joy. It's just to see people excited. You know, when I released this, I wasn't sure, you know, how much I would be positive, how much I would be negative, and people, you know, what people's reactions were. I've been really amazed at how overwhelmingly positive it's been. It's really very, very little negative, and that's a testament to you know, people in this room. It's a testament to the people involved in this venture. I don't want to get on a soapbox about it, but you know, there's a lot of people stressed out in the world and this country about a lot of different things, and it's just great to see people like just excited and happy to do something. And if I could just create that for a few people, then that's more than worth it for me.
The next question is, why didn't you share all the coins in the Seth Pool boxes? But
Yeah, that's an interesting question because I did share all the coins. So I'm assuming someone's assuming that there's a coin for the lion's share box. There was never a coin made for the lion's share box. There's only 4 coins I've ever made, or only 4 that I ever asked Seth to make.
And those are in the book, right?
They're all in the book. They're all in the book.
Okay. Is there anything that you would do differently now that you're over a year into the hunt, looking back?
Not about the hunt itself. I think I answered this question in a different interview. I would have not had so many typos in the first edition. I was not very happy with myself about that. But that was just a product of me doing everything myself and me racing against, you know, a lot of timetables, and this was a very difficult book. You know, a lot of you know that I founded with a friend of mine a children's book publishing company. We publish dozens of books. We have over a dozen coming out this year. But this book, with the way it was created, the quality that I wanted, was exceptionally difficult. And I was doing everything myself. I'm used to having like 10 people helping me with these kind of things. So anyway, I'm just gonna ramble about my time forever. That was basically the thing.
What ride is BTI in the Treasure Hunt amusement park?
Oh yeah, I forgot about this question. That's a cool question. I was gonna do some research on that. What do you guys think? That's a good one. Anyone else got a suggestion? Pirates of the Caribbean. That one. Space Mountain, why? Because you're flying around in the dark? Fair enough. That's a good one. I like that. Okay, we'll go with that.
Space Mountain it is. Okay. If you were to guess, which box will be found first?
Guys. I'm trying to remember what I've said before. I mean, probably the ones that I know have people gotten the closest to. But I would love for you guys to like prove me wrong.
Do they know which one?
I don't remember. expect surprises.
Let's see. How many clues are in the book for the lion's share?
Over 50. You didn't even know.
No, I didn't. I'll even try to. Would locals have an advantage to where the box is located? Meaning, like, would local lore help?
No, but I bet when some of the profound locals are going to be shocked at like how close they were to some of their hangout places, like where people go, camping or have a campfire or something. I think some locals might be surprised.
Yeah.
But no, you don't need to know anything. There's nothing I put in it. You need to have local knowledge that only locals would have that would give them an advantage. Not intentionally.
Before we move on to the questions on the individual boxes, I had a question that I wanted you to answer, just in general about the treasure hunt. I want to know how you felt when our son Aiden first learned that you hid the treasures across the country, and he was so ticked off because he's sure that someone's going to find them before he's old enough to get a car and go look for them.
Yeah,
So bad.
our 7-year-old son is hoping nobody finds this for another 10 years, right? Yeah, he gets upset every time I bring the book out and he sees that we're talking about
It's
it, right?
really mad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good for him. Yeah. Yeah, some of you guys can take him out with if you want to. I mean, he'd probably go.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious.
It's
But I have a
bad.
couple of questions for you before we go on.
Oh.
All right, let's see what Kimberly has to say here. 'Cause she knows what questions I'm going to ask, but I don't know the answer. Oh, okay. So, are you enjoying this project? This project that your husband has done with this book?
Of course. Yes. I've
Are you?
enjoyed it. I mean, it's been a long project, like much longer than
As far as putting it
whole
together,
process.
the
Yeah,
5 years,
inception.
5 years that it took, right?
When you were getting all the items and getting to see them and learn about them and hold them, that was cool.
And you got to wear them.
I got to wear some of them out to dinner.
That's right.
Yeah, and then like helping me pick out the paper, the books, and like I don't know how many different papers there were for us to choose from. And,
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all these different shades of white.
Oh, that's right.
All of that. Yes, it's been fun.
What has surprised you the most, Kimberly?
I think what surprised me the most, okay, probably two things. The gorgeous intricacy of Seth Gold's boxes that he made. They are insane. I kept
The
asking
boxes
him,
are better than they look in the book, right?
I kept telling you, like, are you sure you really want to put this somewhere? Like, can't we just keep these things? They're just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Way, like, they really exceeded my expectations. They were beautiful. And the other thing that surprised me was how well the book did to reach bestseller on Amazon, and they sold out.
That was great. Yeah, I was ill prepared.
Yeah.
A publisher ill prepared for success. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Okay. Have you read the book and what are your thoughts?
Yes, I have read the book many times. From many different versions and revisions, and tried to catch some of those types. I've caught some of the typos. Not all of them, apparently. Yes, I've read it many times, and I really like it. I think you did a great job. It's very eloquent, well thought out. true stories, you know, of real people like Wilma Rudolph and the Nigerian soccer team and overcoming, you know, all of the hardships and obstacles. I don't know, like I cried on these chapters. I really like the stories a lot. Probably what people are asking is, what do you think, like where the treasures are?
Every
I have
question.
no idea. I have no idea. But I do like the book.
Oh, well, is there any item that I put in the treasure box that you would love to have?
Yes. Yes. The Egyptian snake bracelet. That was really cool. I wore that out on a couple of dates.
It's like 2,000 years old, but it still works today. It's very modern in its own way.
Yeah, and the brooch, Jackie Massis's brooch, was so beautiful. Yeah, those are my favorite.
Oh, John says you have an annual fun puzzle weekend. I think there's the gaming weekend.
The gaming weekend.
With your friends. What's that like? We'd like to hear more.
Oh, okay. It's really fun, yeah. So
We just had one.
We just had one, actually. I mean, originally it started with John and some of his friends. Would like go up right to cabin, some the Big Bear or something like that, like for a weekend, a 3-day weekend. And
pretty
they would
rough.
just like bring food and sleeping bags and board games and role-playing games, and we just like crash on the couch on the floor and just play games for like 3 days straight, morning and night. And so that's how it started out. And then when we got our house, the one that we're living in now, we weren't living in it at first. And so John was like, well, why don't we just use the empty house that we have instead of go up? So it just kind of like grew. And then we moved into the house, and then we still had the people come over. And then it like grew to more spouses and more significant others. You know, it's not just a group of like 8 guys, it's, you know, couples and everything. But we had, what, 25 people, I think, at our house. Yeah, and most of them, or a lot of them, slept over, and sleeping bags and mattresses, and it's really fun. We just have like different tables set up. We have, what, 3 or 4 different tables of games.
And Kimberly likes to create her own escape room adventures. So like we do like the dinner, and this last time was breaking into the vault,
The
right?
heist of the century.
The heist of the
Escape
century.
room.
With
Yeah.
real cash prizes.
With real cash prizes, and I 3D printed a vault for the end. It was really fun. Yeah, so each year, I'm not really much of a gamer. I mean, my big game this time was dominoes.
Well, the next question is, are you into Dungeons? Right?
Well, I'll answer that now. No, I'm not. I like dominoes and Yahtzee and stuff like that. So.
All right, thank you, Kimberly. I was just, interrupting.
Oh, okay. This is more questions.
These are about the
These
individual
are
boxes.
now specifically about the individual boxes.
How are we doing on time? They're like, hurry up, I want to ask my own
We got
question.
it, so we're okay on time. Okay. So, let's see, these questions are for the past and future box. Oh, okay. This was one with like all caps with lots of exclamation marks. Please answer
Is this the
this.
one that
Please
mine
answer.
said to me?
Yes, and it was reiterated to you. So, the question is, on bends, special bends and turns, or no special bends and turns? Bullshit.
With these boxes, I found you guys just gonna hate me for it. Go back and like listen to these question answers. It's not hard. Yeah, it's not hard. Well, see, if I answer in the affirmative, it suggests that I know what you're talking about. So I was gonna say that, like, to lieu of not acting like I know what you're talking about, I'm just gonna say it's not hard. I didn't do that. I don't know what that is. Fair enough. Time. Oh, if those are the choices, then it's not on. On is incorrect.
All right, you gave updates on how close people were to the other boxes, but not past and future. Can you give us an estimate of how close a searcher has been?
I don't know. I don't know on that one. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really give you an estimate. I don't know.
So probably not very close.
Well, but there's so many people that I don't know. I mean, not that I know of, like, not within a couple hundred feet that I know of, but that doesn't mean it's not.
Sure.
I mean, theoretically it could happen, but I don't know.
Are video games involved specifically to the solution for past and future?
Ready Player One, that's what you guys what's the question?
Are video games involved specifically to the solution?
Games are involved specifically to the solution.
You should say is it a video game or games?
That would be yes.
Oh,
Games
that's a little bit of a clue.
are.
How-
Probably the closest thing I've given to it tonight.
Yeah. How many of the 5 clues in the word search have been solved? As you said, not all 5 have been solved. How do you know this?
You guys are just gonna hate these answers, but like, I don't know because I don't know, I don't know because I don't know how many people are out there who like solved it or haven't solved it. But I think it's the thing people are asking when they ask this question. I think either you have all 5 of them solved or none of them solved. That's kind of how I think it's going to go down. Yeah. So I know it is pretty mass confusion with that answer, but
So if they have all 5 solved or nothing,
Probably.
none of them
Most likely,
solved,
yes.
are you saying then
Yes.
that you haven't seen anyone who gave you all 5?
I haven't looked closely, but like, yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to talk about the lion's share box.
Okay.
This is kind of out of order, I guess, but lion's share box. Is the lion's share box larger than all the other box values combined?
Was that the question, value? Because I think also in size and volumetric.
Yes, we've talked about, well, maybe answer both, like,
Volumetric, it might be as well. Value, yes. Yeah. The lion's share box is the shiznick. It has the lion's share in it, and it is pretty awesome. And it is worth in excess of all the other boxes combined, for what we're sure. Yeah.
and is larger in volume as well, right? Well, then combined?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Volume is a little tricky, but value, yes, for sure. Also, on this note, like, it's so interesting. When I was reading these, I decided to go back. You know, it got me kind of inspired. This week, I ran some numbers on the value of the treasure currently, because I wanted to. You probably know this if you've seen interviews with it. I wanted to have a treasure that I thought would likely grow in value over time. So the longer it takes for people to find it, the more it's worth. That's pretty cool. By my rough back and napkin estimates, the treasure has appreciated over 80% of the very first year. So whatever I've said about the initial value of the items, you can almost double it in a year, which is a lot faster than I was expecting. But yeah, it's significantly more than it was a year ago.
How many chapters have clues in them before part 1, lion's share?
I think every chapter has at least one. Well, just might as well assume that every chapter has, like every every chapter in part 1 has a clue for the line check record. And if there's a chapter that doesn't for some reason because I'm forgetting, it doesn't matter. If you're making the assumption that every chapter does, I think it's okay.
So every chapter or almost every chapter?
I think so, yeah. I think my intention was to put at least one clue in every chapter. I think that's what I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the Pokemon box, is Froakie pointing his hand important to be solved?
Is Froakie pointing his hand?
Oh no, he's doing something.
I mean, there is a Pokemon pointing in that chapter, but I'm not sure Froakie is pointing his hand. I have to go back and look at that and see.
So it has no significance?
No.
Okay.
The image of Froakie has no significance in that chapter, other than just kind of coloring your imagination for that wacky adventure.
Okay. So for the Forest Flint box, is there an elevation beyond 5,000 and 10,200 feet that you can give us to help us refine our solves?
What were the
5,000 feet and 10,200 feet.
because that's what it's for, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you guys something. So for the Forest Fit box, it's between 5,000 and 10,200. In honor of Forest Fit, I will give you that late-breaking information. Heard today for the very first time. I did not put it above 10,200 feet or below 5,000 feet. Who knows, it might be right almost dab in the middle of the street.
If the poem is all we need, is there anything helpful in the rest of the chapter? And if yes, what? What are the clues in that chapter?
I feel like every question should be that question. Because that's the question behind every question. I think I say in the chapter that the only thing you need is a point. And that it's just taking literally. Yeah, that's all you need. I don't think there's anything else in the chapter that's clues. That chapter was an homage to his hunt, so I just basically said that's what he did with his, that's what I'm going to do with this box. Kept it very simple. So everything is contained in the point.
Cool. So where warm waters hold is very general enforcement solution. Is yours as vague or is it more specific?
Was Forest Fit very general and vague? That's kind of like, I don't know.
I think that was
Do
vague.
you think his was vague?
Yeah.
But there was an actual place that he was solved, right?
Warm waters, that could be anything.
Well, of course, then mine's vague too. But there is a warm water, there's a warm water in my mind that I got when I wrote the poem, so to me it's very specific.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, those are all our questions.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Did you do okay? Now you get to ask us stuff just off your cuff. Oh, hold on, I have to choose. Okay, you guys choose. I don't want to be responsible for choosing.
I'm going to ask you to line up out here. If you have a question, I'll stand right here and we'll go in order. Don't run! Okay. Stand right here. In line, that way. Okay, go ahead.
What's this?
Okay, it works. Hi, my name is Kimberly. Beautiful name.
Oh, hi.
This might seem super random, but I am wondering yourself religious? Is that too personal?
No. Is this for me or for you?
Oh, it's for you.
My dad was a minister, so I kind of grew up in the church. If you mean by religious like that, like church going, no, not really. Spiritual, yeah. Spirituality is very important to me, and I personally believe there's much more to reality than just what we see here. There's three-dimensional world. So I'm very spiritual, but I don't know if I would be like religious in the way some people might define the word.
Thank you very much. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Hello, John.
Hi.
My name is Misha, but people call me 3D Bronze. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. My question is, you seem to allude to errors in your book not being clues. So my question is, and what everyone is wondering, is page 90 missing a clue or an unintentional error?
That was not an unintentional error.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cascade. Thanks so much for taking our questions. My question is, if you were to estimate, how many hours did it take you to make the word search in the past and future chapter?
What?
A long time.
Did it? A long time. I don't know. I didn't keep track of those things, but many hours. Many renditions and many hours. That was a challenging thing.
Hi guys, my name is Larry, and thank you for being here, first of all. We really appreciate it. I'm curious, there's a wonderful picture of the two of you hiking in the wilderness of the book. Any chance you'd share that location?
No.
I thought I'd try.
No. It was somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000. In the rocky floors of Saturday. And below Canada.
First of all, thank you. I think everybody here shares that sentiment. But my question is specifically for the lion's share. There are a lot of images and illustrations in there, and my question is, if you were to take all of the images out and just a textbook, do you think somebody could find the treasure with just the text alone?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think it would be harder, for sure. It'd be much more, it would be difficult. But maybe not impossible. I just hesitate because I wish I had to go and study the whole clue list. Yeah, it'd be harder.
Hi, John.
Hi.
Hi, Kimberly. Did you know the exact hiding spot before you received the boxes from Seth?
Well, I received the boxes over a period of, it took him a year and a half to complete everything, so I received the boxes over a 6 to 8 month period, if I remember correctly. In that time, I was also trying to figure out where I was going to potentially, or narrow down places that I thought that I would want to potentially hide the boxes. So I don't remember exactly, but it was a fluid process. Probably for some of them, yes, probably for others, no. But none of the boxes was I knew the exact place it would be until I actually went and did reconnaissance. Except for maybe with one of them, I knew exactly where I was going to be. But the other ones I had to do a lot of reconnaissance, so it was a fluid situation.
Thank you.
Yep.
Kimberly. I am USA China 1 of Sam. In Joyce Serenade, this is about the line here. It says, use full straight edge as a turning square or any arc realigning in a proper plumb. It's kind of apparent as the poem goes on that we can choose our own path, and X leads the way, or follow the shimmering circles of gold. Are there any other arcs that would get us where we need to be?
You're good. You'll be a lot closer to that. Nobody's seeing you.
We gotta go in deep. I mean, I don't want to say, no, right off the top of my head.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chief, for coming.
You want to go through the deal?
Yes, you can say that's a big thing.
Hey, John, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Art. I'm the face from Foggy Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
Oh, nice.
I'd first love to cordially invite you to play with us sometime. But secondly, I have a really hard pressing question for this community. In a hot dog eating contest between competitors like Chad Bird, Jam, and Froggy, who do you think the winner of this competition might be?
Do you like hot dogs?
Hold on, Chad Bird, I need you to stand up. I need John to be able to sign as well.
I mean, Chad looks pretty motivated, so I'll go with Chad.
Yeah, Chad. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, John. My name is Chris. I'm from San Diego. First of all, I'd like to thank you very much for your beautiful book. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Kimberly, for supporting him for his project. It's been very meaningful to many of us. My question is, as this idea to hide 5 boxes reverberated between editors, you had to establish priorities because there's trade-offs. Should I select a beautiful place? Should I select a meaningful place? Should I select a historically significant place? Should I find a place that fits includes just the way I want them to fit and is also safe? What was your top priority for those 5 boxes?
I would say a mixture of, when I could, areas that like had some sort of significant meaning to myself. And then the beauty, one side was on the ground, you know, like, and really making calm decisions. Of course, you also have to make decisions about where people go and how they move in that area and what's logistically possible. But, you know, with none of that consideration of like things that meant something to me, and like kind of some sort of like overarching kind of like relationship between people and boxes. Great question.
Thank you for your answer.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Maddie. This whole notebook is dedicated to just solving the past with rocks. Hundreds of pages. My question for you is, are there more substitution ciphers to solve than just the cryptogram?
Or substitution. What's a substitution site?
Well, like, you know, G equals H, or, you know, a secret cipher, where you shift one over, or even like A equals 1, B equals 2.
I think that I had a word search. It's easy to search for words. And I had a cryptogram that you need to uncode, or decode, and that was it.
Juicy. I love it. Thank you.
Hi, John. Pinocchio
I don't know.
from Michigan. I've got a question from my son and one from myself. Can I ask two?
Sure.
My son would like to know, what are your top 3 favorite Pokemon?
I should have my son here actually answering this question. Because my son does more about Pokemon than I do. Well, I have to go with the Charizard. And then, I don't know. YouTube. And then I guess I have an affinity for pierogies since I use that book. What was your question?
My question is, if someone was traveling out of state, what's the minimum amount of time that they should budget? Assuming they can figure out the cruise, what's the minimum amount of time that you think somebody could possibly speed run a solve to one of your devices?
Speed run? I mean, I guess, I don't know, if you were on target, you could, find a box in a couple hours, but we usually go in from a different, I'm assuming that you're starting where,
Starting from the state, yeah.
You're starting to where you parked, right? You probably would take more than 2 hours.
Great, thank
But I
you.
guess you could speed run it faster than that if you knew exactly where you're going.
Thank you.
Hey John, nice to meet you. Appreciate you coming out. Thank you, Calzars, for putting everything together before the book signing too. That would be awesome. Kind of one or two questions. You mentioned that there's red herrings in the book before in video interviews. You mentioned that in the AT blocks, for example, past and future, for spend, you just need those solves. So for AT, it's the map. For past and future, it's a cipher, right? So you get the idea. So my question is, are the red herrings like Buffalo, cough, cough, in the Pokemon box? And do you just need a fictitious tale when you go on the Frokie, or is the first half we talk about New Orleans and Pokemon Go relevant?
There's no red herrings in the Pokemon chapter.
And on the first half of it.
On the Pokemon chapter, there's no red herrings.
Okay.
If I said red herring, I think that was the very first interview I ever did. And I think there's one thing in the book that is not that. But anyway, there's nothing in there for like a book.
And is the first half relevant? You said you only need a map for the AT box, the home for force spin. Is it kind of the same thing with the Pokemon box?
No, the whole chapter.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Hi, John. There's several mistakes with this that they could correct it in the other ones. My question is, how many actual editions are out? I know there's at least 3, but I've got more than 3. And there are more editions.
There are, I think, 2 to 4 or 5. What happened was, the reason there's so many editions is like, every time you do a new printing, that's a new edition. Right, there's a change, right? And it was really chaotic in the beginning, because it had 50,000 copies printed, and then they sold out in 3 weeks. And so I had to have 3 printers, 2 in Canada and 1 in China, all working on this. And they were all 3 different editions happening at the exact same time. And then I had to have some additional ones because it didn't ever run out again. So there were 4 or 5 total editions.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I am less boots on the ground and more tush at the computer. I am not computer savvy and have had to learn all of these new strategies, ChatGPT and things like that. Do you think it's possible that some of your searchers have been hijacked by things online?
Well, what do you mean by hijack?
Getting strange messages.
From who?
I don't know.
Oh, I have no idea what other people have experienced at all.
I just wanted to make sure that it was a totally book thing and not an online thing.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
First, thank you to you and your wife for doing this. We appreciate it. Thank you for the wonderful book. My question is around public places, and you said that the treasure was left in a public space. A lot of treasure hunters may or may not know that these public spaces may actually be privately owned. The easement that you talked about, is that an easement that allows the private property to be lent out to the public, or is that that's a easement?
I think I was just trying to make this a very specific distinction. Is like there's some public trails where like if you do like a vast amount of research, you'll find out that maybe like 100 yards of it is on private land, but there has been an agreement set up that that's just public access. That's a rare thing, but it is a thing, and I know some people do a deep dive, and I didn't want people to get all worked up about that, so that's why I said that, but otherwise, you don't have to go to any type of private property for any real reason at all. Yeah.
Hi, John, nice to meet you. I'm Ryan Birch, and glad to get a chance to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So, an easy one that you can answer, you'll be the judge. So all the boxes, you mentioned from a safety perspective, when there's snow on the ground, you're hunting, are there any boxes where under normal weather circumstances, they wouldn't be snow?
Are you asking that one time?
Yeah, are any of the boxes hidden where under normal weather circumstances, not crazy weather, that they wouldn't ever get snowed on?
Probably. But we just had some crazy weather patterns, right? Where like 3 quarters of the country were like iced out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Crazy weather pattern.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't expect the box to be snowed.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
I thank you both for being here. I have a very specific question. Does one of the clues have relevance to a gun scope like retinal sight, like a sighting scope, or it's good like crosshairs?
That's a very specific one. That does not sound familiar to me.
Hey, John.
Huh?
So, thank you so much. After the forest event, treasure was ended, my heart was broken, and you came out. You gave us something else to do. And so thank you so much for that. My family and I, we were really digging in, really diving in, really loving it, really involved. So my question for you is pertaining to the forest event box. And, forest event left us a map. I call it the Fen Zone. It's got 4 states on it. My question is, are there any other treasure chests other than the Fen box hidden in that Fen Zone?
Well, I can't answer that question, but I think we should just extrapolate in our minds that if you have, 5 boxes spread out. I think that's a pretty big area, the Rocky Mountains, right? Yeah. I can't answer that question, but I can just reiterate that there's 5 boxes spread out in different parts of the country. So, I think that the cool thing potentially is that when a box is found and another box is found, it's going to kind of start to eliminate general areas and it's going to narrow things down more. So those will be revealed, but the Rockies were kind of forced in this thing.
Okay. If you don't mind, I have a question for my mother. She's not here. She could join. Quick question. The olive jar. When the
pickle jar or the olive jar?
The olive jar, or call it the pickle jar. So when it's finally revealed, we all finally figure out what's in there. Is it gonna make us happy, or is it gonna make us sad?
I wish I knew. Is it gonna make me
How did
happy?
it make you feel?
I think I was less emotionally attached than some people are. So I think my feeling was more like, oh, this is gonna be really cool. But I don't know if it's gonna make you happy or sad. I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't answer.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for your time.
Hi, John. Thank you very much. Josh from Orlando. Wanted to give you a softball.
Okay.
With your background as a musician, and I know that you've got a chapter in your own special music.
Yes.
I was just curious what you would say if you had to pick one song to best represent or sum up what this hunt is. What would that song be?
See, now if you put down the list, I could have some time to think about it, but I don't know. Do you have what do you think? Song would sum it up. I don't know what song would sum it get back on that. Maybe I can like answer that question. They can provide it later for me on the podcast.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You stated that the photo in the bookmark chapter is a location you visited hiding in the box. Is
Yes.
this a single photo, or are there other images, items, or locations added in making it a collage with multiple things you can find, not all in the exact same spot, location, when you find the picture?
Okay, I'm not exactly sure everything you asked.
Is it just like a single scene?
Yeah.
Like, or are there like a whole bunch of scenes like overlaid on top of each other?
It was one single picture.
Okay.
Taken by my camera. And then obviously, you know, I did some things to it, but it was one single picture. There aren't like multiple pictures laid on top of my camera.
Okay, so you didn't add any items into the picture?
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, but it was a picture on my camera, on my phone.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah.
My question actually has a preliminary question. At risk of making myself look like an idiot here, you have said that nobody's discovered the 5 clues for the past and future months. If I were to make a guess at the 5 clues in a public setting, and at least 4 or 5 of them are correct, would you confirm that a large number of them are correct?
I don't confirm anything, unless the treasure's been found. I think this whole 5 clues about the word search is throwing people for a loop, and I can understand why.
I think I know why too.
But you know, yeah. Let's see what you say.
I believe the 5 clues are the hidden message, the no special medicine term, all of the forward words as one group as a clue, all of the backward words as a group as a clue, all of the diagonal words as a group as a clue, meaning that all 4 of the directions of words are one clue each, and then the message.
And you want to be confirmed. Well, I can't comment on that.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
Hi, Ron, thank you for taking the question. Can you eliminate a state that borders one of the boxes that the box resides?
So you mean when something's found?
No, eliminate the state right now.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing in Puerto Rico.
Hi, John. Thanks again for being here. My question also has to do with us. I know we just had a thing about 5 clues, but those 5 clues, could you find the box without knowing all 5 clues? Or is it something that needs to be done almost sequentially in order to get there?
Oh man, you can find the box without knowing all 5 clues. And those all 5 clues that you guys are talking about is, you know, there is a world where there's more than 5 clues, but like, what does that mean? You know, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in that word search, so yeah. I'm sorry. Don't have anything.
No, thank you.
Hello, John. My name is Laura. I want to say thank you for coming and answering all our questions. I'm also looking for the past and future box, but I'm not going to ask a question about it. As treasure hunters,
seminars, we're sometimes asked by hikers what we're doing and often give a heartless cover explanation. When you were hiding your treasures, or when you were searching for forest fence treasure, did you ever experience this? If so, what did you tell them?
What was the first part of the question?
As searchers, sometimes we're asked by hikers, like what we're doing. Like one time someone saw me, I was wearing a frog shirt, and it had just rained, and there were a bunch of frogs. And they were like, what are you doing coming off the trail? They're like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm getting frogs and putting them back in the river.
I mean,
I don't know why I said it.
That's great. That's hilarious. I never had that happen. I never had someone like ask me what I was doing. I don't know what to say. Like, yeah. You don't want to tell them the truth.
Yeah, I don't want you to know because I'm pretty sure I think I know where it is.
Oh, I see. You don't want to get everybody to say. Yeah. So I don't know. I can't really say, but that's a hilarious story.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Hi, John. My name is Cynthia. This is regarding the past and future box. So I'm really sick and tired of working on the word search.
It's interesting. Like my sister texted me, I think about 2 weeks after the book came out, and she was like, I was on a 5-hour Zoom call with 500 people talking about your word search. And that was like 2 weeks in. I was like, what? Yeah, so I can understand your frustration.
So my question is, can the PNF box be found using just the story in that chapter and the cryptogram without solving the 5 clues in the word search?
It'd be a lot harder. That word search is pretty important. Sorry, Cynthia.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good.
The resolution of the map for the 18-foot map box is significantly better in the ePDF than it is in the printed version. Does the increased level of detail create any competitive advantage?
No, I don't think so. It's really, I really spent a lot of time having the printer send me actual physical copies of what that was going to look like, and I went over with a magnifying glass from each printer that I had to do it, and I think everything is. I'm losing my eyesight anyway, so like I think we're okay with the printed version.
Excellent, thank you.
Hi, Doug. Thank you. You talked about how you explicitly ruled out Yellowstone when you were hunting for forest spots.
Yeah.
How did that affect the way you built this hunt? And specifically, how you wrote chapter 9? Confirmation bias.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know how it shaped it other than I just, like, it's just funny because I spent a lot of time searching for that box, but yet I made an assumption that they never have let me ever find it in a million years, And I can't tell you exactly why I made the assumption other than I heard him talking about it. I was like, well, it really sounds like, he would put it someplace there because he was concerned about the legalities of it, and I just, I wanted to kind of narrow things down, and so I just made like a real kind of rookie error, just eliminating something for no exact reason. And so that was a huge confirmation bias because it like led me to never consider that. And I also was like, this is interesting. Like, one of the big things was, I know there's some debate about night owl, but let's just go with it. I heard about Forrest's hunt in early 2016. I think he hit the box in 2009, 2010, whatever. And I just assumed that there's just no way the box could be in the most obvious place because thousands of people would already search there, and I'm sure they would have found it. And so I think that was the big takeaway, right? And it's interesting. I go back to that resilience thing, like, Dave and Sam dig a hole. Like people, just because, people can go to a place and search doesn't mean it's not there. And so, yeah, it was an interesting thing, and I guess there was some confusion about Yellowstone when I brought it up, but I just thought a fair thing was just to let people know my experience, which, I hid the Forrest Bin box somewhere where I was searching for his box, and I did not search for his box in Yellowstone, and that's why I let people know that.
Hello, is there more than one Pokemon that's hidden? More than one Pokemon that's hidden in a purple image at the end of the Pokemon box?
I can't answer the question not because the question is yes, it's just because I feel like it's a little bit of a slippery slope if I start answering specific questions. Nice crowd. You got the crowd behind you though. Took with the team.
Hi, Jon and Kimberly. Thanks for coming today. I'm Stacy. You just clarified that Puerto Rico again, or reiterated that. But my question is Alaska and Hawaii still at play in this?
Yeah, they're part of the United States. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Hi, I'll just keep it quick. Given that some of the treasure items could be susceptible to high humidity, like the Michael Jordan card or the Pokemon cards, are all of the items actually in the boxes, or are there some proxies inside?
There were a couple items that were too big to fit in any reasonable size box. So there's that. But everything that could be in a box, when you talk about humidity, that was another thing I did a lot of research on. So I think they're protected.
Hello. In the past and future chapter on the word search, the word line is found and also needed to complete the hidden phrase, line them up. And it sort of breaks a rule that you established during the decoding of the secret message. Was this intentional or not?
I think that you're on the right path.
Hey John, my name is Bruno. Thank you so much for doing this. My question is, do all letters in the word search have to be used in a meaningful way?
No.
Thank you.
This is not about the word search.
Oh, yes!
Sorry, I wanted to thank you for all the joy of the puzzles, but especially I enjoyed your humor through it. Like, for instance, the jar of flies, and maybe also the clapping of the Pokemons. It really puts you in the spot. So imagine I've been in those spots. I've gotten all the way to where the Pokemon is standing there pointing. How many boulders do I have to turn over or trees knock down before I'll find it? Like if I'm literally on the spot where the Pokemon is, am I looking at 10 yards or 50 yards? Because some guys tore up a boulder for 50 days.
It feels like if you're standing where the Pokemon is and you go 10 yards in the direction it's pointing, you'll just be in the river. So you're probably not that close. You probably need to go a little further. Perfect.
We'll have about 5 more questions.
Okay.
Hi, John. Thank you. My name is Max. When I first started on this search with Fresh Eyes, one of the boxes, I was leaning towards a more urban setting for the solve. I just wanted to ask you though, obviously now for more time, it seems, and there's no red herrings, right? So everything seems to be more in a nature setting. But would you say that there's any that is close to an urban jungle? Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I really talk about Mother Nature love for a reason. I think that, like, you know, stick with that.
So there has to be varying degrees of difficulty in your clues. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So as a favor to me, Calzars and Cape Pro, and all of us at Senior Treasure Con, could you tell us what's the most basic, easiest clue in the book?
No. I don't know, but that's objective. I think that's a nice try.
Hi, Tom, my name is Trish, and I have just a quick question. Do you pronounce the trail Appalachian footpath or Appalachian footpath? And do you think it's important?
Appalachian is how I said it growing up, yeah.
Hello, my name is Chris. I wanted to know which box are we closest to in Vegas, or how far is, or how far is the closest box?
I'm not. No comment.
For neither?
Sorry.
Hi.
You should answer this question. Sorry.
That's okay. Okay, so my question is, now that the search has been going on for a little while now, do you feel like you've given sufficient amount of clues for each box, or do you feel like any of the boxes you're like, maybe I should have given one or two more, and if so, which one? And do you feel like your searches are like off on a wild goose chase, and you're like, I need to reel them in at all,
Well, there's a lot of people searching. I mean, some people are on a bigger goose chase than others. Some aren't on a goose chase very much at all. It's a question I ask myself, will there be a time where I need to often give more public clues or not? I don't know. Let's see how this year plays out. I'll reevaluate. But I don't know the answer because, again, I don't want to jump to too much conclusions just when you hear me.
So you haven't seen any particular box where you're like, gosh, they're way off. All my searches are way off on that one.
There's a lot of people searching, so I think that's probably true for everyone. To a certain degree. But then it only takes one person to find each one. So.
All right, well, thank you so much.
I mean, there are people, there are things that are generally correct by a lot of people, so. It's not that everyone's wrong by everything. That's not true.
I know we're coming up on time, so I'm going to try to keep this brief, but I just want to say an extended thank you to you, John. I was just talking with my buddy Matt, and I know that we've got a lot going on in our personal lives, but I really am grateful for what you have put out into the world and the way that it has been kind of a beacon for all of us to, focus on, to, dream about, to get excited about, even in the midst of our, shitty lives and jobs being lost and family members sick and whatnot. So that is, it's really amazing to have something to, get excited about. In this world. I'm actually, this is not actually about the hunt itself, but I'm curious to know, let's say I find the box, right? You've given instructions for how to open it. You've left it open as far as whether I reach out to you, right? What was your thought process as far as, you could have made it so that, you can't open it unless you contact me first, right? So I'm just curious to know what your thought process was as far as putting it out into the world, each of the treasures, and what happens after that.
Well, I didn't want anyone destroying a box and trying to get inside of it. So that was a big deal. But other than that, I just wanted to create an incentive, you know, for people to contact me so we could have some closure. And then that was pretty much the extent of my thought process.
Thank you.
Hi, John. Good to see you. When you guys were forest researchers, were you watching YouTube shows and all those things?
No, not really.
You were just focused on the book and going for it.
Yeah, well, there was a lot. Well, I don't know. It seemed like there was a lot less back then. I think there were a couple of online forums. Yeah, and so I'd try to go back and read the history of that. I probably watched a video. I'm sure I watched Christy and Mike's videos or something like that.
I'll try to get it one time. Regarding the Pokemon box, as you can imagine, interview after interview, there's still great debate about the phrase past the Ozarks. This has people looking all the way up as far as the Great Lakes, which I was joking about. I've driven from Statesville over here and back. Is it safe to say you never went further north than your skateboard?
As a kid?
For the Pokemon box hike.
As a kid, on that trip, I think we went north of I-40. Well, the Pokemon box location was inspired by the experience of the child. So, but I can't say whether the box is north of I-40 or not.